What is going on, everyone? It is I, Fumincho. Today we're going to be talking all about the PlayStation 5 reveal event, hopes and dreams, predictions, and everything in between. I'm joined by Phenom Sage, my good friend Matthew. How are you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Getting pumped, man. Getting pumped.
Getting pumped. You were saying right before we started recording, this is like the most excited you've been since like a while, for a long time in terms of gaming. Like
2018, possibly even longer, because like it's not often every like 7 to 8 years you get to witness the cusp of a new console generation. It's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it really is. So we have some predictions written down. We have some hopes and dreams written down. We kind of prepared for this video a little bit. You want to start? You want to just lead us into this big discussion?
Yeah, man. And I tried to be a little bit more interesting because it's obviously easy to be like, oh, this game will be there. This game will be there. And I do have some like, oh, this game will be there.
Yeah.
Hopes and dreams and stuff. But I want to focus on just like more specifically just the presentation itself, the PS5 itself, and like what kind of things we might be able to see. And this my first prediction that I wrote down here may not be like a positive one that people are like, oh no, what are you thinking saying that? But I feel like we might not see as many games as we're thinking at this presentation. And the reason I think that is because Xbox Series X got a lot of flack at their little thing for not showing gameplay, not showing these gameplay sequences. They showed these like 1 to 2 minute trailers and people hated it. People hated that these trailers were just gone in a flash. Those games didn't leave any impression. So basically my prediction here is we might not be seeing as many games as we're thinking, but they're going to be long.
I think so too.
Long gameplay sequences. I would say at least 1 to 2 long gameplay sequences at this presentation.
I agree. And I think that's going to be, so like, I don't know if it's confirmed. I've heard people talk about it, that this presentation is going to be primarily, at the very least, about the launch lineup for the PS5. But in the actual blog post that Jim Ryan wrote announcing this event, he just says that we're talking about the games after the launch of PS5 this holiday. Literally those exact words. So like,
I don't think it's going to be limited to launch.
I don't think so either.
Like first year.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Maybe
but
even second.
Yeah, but the games that you're talking about, the games that are going to get those like gameplay demos, are going to be the games that are probably launching this year. Yeah, or yeah, like, I mean, like, there's going to be, obviously, like, Godfall, maybe, or something like that. Like, that would kind of pop in there, perhaps. Like, where it's like, hey, we're going to play this game for, like, 15 minutes or 10 minutes or something. Or maybe not 15 minutes, that seems kind of long. But, like, at least, like, a 5-minute demo of the game itself. I mean, that's the thing, though. That's the biggest, that was the most...
5 to 7 minutes is that sweet spot there.
Yeah. For me, personally, like, that was the most exciting thing when they said it's going to be over an hour long. Like, that... I'm like
a little over an hour.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking like E3 2016, like that was like an hour and 15 minutes. I'm thinking like
90. I mean, at the very most 90 minutes. Like that's.
I think that's passionate. I think an hour 10, an hour 15 is like where I'm thinking right now, and that's like really promising. It's been a long time since PlayStation has done an event that long.
Yeah.
That hasn't been like like tech stuff like Mark Cerny.
Yeah, just like talking in front of the camera.
I'll add a quick little addendum here. I don't think there's going to be any talking in this presentation. I think they're just going to go game. The most you're going to get is maybe like an intro and maybe something else I'll bring up.
Yeah, I think that like Herman Hulst is probably going to intro the video, the presentation. Like, hey, we're talking about PS5 for like a 2-minute little.
I don't think it's going to be much though, because I thought one thing, just a little quick aside here. I thought in the Xbox Series X Indies thing, I thought it was really unprofessional the way they handled like those webcam sections.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
watching like an amateur presentation or something.
It's down to earth, but like I don't want my next gen presentation to be down to earth.
Yeah,
like
I
don't
get the circumstances that they were in, but I just wouldn't have done that at all because nothing they were saying in those sections was crucial to what they were showing.
My biggest like the weird part about it is like you have the technology to pre-record that. Like, why does this look so bad? Like, you guys have good webcams, like, why is this not like pre-recorded? Like, why am I seeing a Zoom call in my presentation? It is a little weird. Like, just I get what you mean. Like, I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind people talking. Like, if I see like Mark Cerny like looking good, wearing a suit, like talking about the PS5, I'm down for that. But like him on a webcam talking to Jim Ryan, like that's kind of weird to me. Like I hope that's not here.
E3 look more professional than they did at the Microsoft thing.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Like it's just weird. Like I don't like we're talking about a multi-million-dollar company and like they're using like really bad microphones, really bad webcams, and a really bad connection Zoom call. It seems kind of weird. Like they could have they recorded both of themselves with cameras, and it's easy editing. Like it's just weird. I hope that's not.
That's just a small thing I wanted to bring up. But
yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a lot of talking.
My biggest question to you, and this is sort of I've heard a couple of people talk about, and I don't know which side I weigh in on, but I'm curious where you're at. Do you think that we're going to see the box, the actual PS5, physically?
Yes, I do.
Wow. I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I really don't. I don't, because that's the thing.
I think that is the only like guarantee that I can say about like what we will see physically of the PS5 in terms of like details. I think that the box is the one thing you will see at this presentation.
It's kind of crazy to announce a bunch of games for something that we don't even know what it looks like. Like that seems kind of silly to me.
I think we'll open the presentation with that, to be honest.
Yeah. I think so too. I think you have like this big, like similar to like the Xbox thing back at the Game Awards, like maybe not that ephemeral, but like have like a sort of like a CG PS5, like we get to see the design, they kind of tease it here and there. I think that could be kind of cool. I don't think we're getting release date or price here though. I do not think that's happening.
Well, I'll talk about some stuff later. But yeah.
I want to kind of. I'm gonna get into a game that I think is going to be a launch title. It's not only a prediction; it's also a dream. I should say that.
Okay, so not realistic.
I have something that can kind of back it to make it realistic. I think that at launch for the PS5, we're getting a brand new Ape Escape game.
I have Ape Escape written here.
No way. Okay. Let me tell you why, though. Ape Escape is the entire formula of Ape Escape as a game is all about control. It's all about how you move your character, how you use your gadgets, how you control them. Using the DualShock 2 at the time. Like, that was why using the DualShock in general, when the first game came out, that was what that game was about, was utilizing the analog stick. And I think that they could do something similar with the DualSense, with having haptic feedback, utilizing gadgets that use haptic feedback, using the touchpad, or using like that kind of stuff with. I think it should have happened on PS4, to be real with you. Like I wanted that to happen on PS4, but now I think that
do with it.
I agree. I think that now there's so much more to do with it, and like I think it's the perfect launch title for a console. Like, obviously, you're gonna have your big boy, like, Blue Point game or whatever that we'll probably end up talking about later. But, like, I think that, like, that is a really cool game to announce. Or, like, maybe even a remake of one that uses the DualSense or something like that. I'm not sure.
This ties into I was gonna save this for a different prediction, but you bringing this up is perfect for me to bring in another prediction I had. And that is, I have here, at least one gameplay sequence will include a voiceover explaining how the new features of the DualSense will work with certain games. And also, I don't know if this will apply to Ape Escape, but there will also be a gameplay sequence that will include a voiceover explaining how the SSD allows them to do things that they wouldn't be able to do things otherwise.
Yeah, I agree with that. That could be honestly any game, but like I think that like the focus of this entire presentation, as opposed to what Microsoft did at the Inside Xbox, is showcasing games that need to be on PS5, or at least next gen.
That's how you do it. That's how you tell me. You have to show me, not just me, like you have to show customers what makes this different. Why does this need to be next generation? And I think that even above the DualSense and like all that extra stuff there, the SSD is crucial to that. Like that's going to be everything for how they're presenting these games.
Yeah, I think so too. And like, again, that can go into any game at all, like third party or first party. I think that's going to be kind of throughout. I think you're going to have that. That kind of makes me think of like, oh, is this going to be like similar to a state of play where like you have that like the girl talking like, hey, like, oh, this game is taking advantage of that, or this game is taking advantage of this, or are we going to have like developers speaking over their games?
I think there will be a mix of voiceover and no voiceover.
Or you know what was really nice was during the Ghost of Tsushima gameplay demo, there was like little notes that would pop up like at the bottom of the screen that would say like certain little facts about the game, like, oh, you can change the color of your armor here, by the way, or like, oh, he could have gone. Cool. I think they could do something like that, like, oh, by the way, this is you're only able to do that with the power of the PS5 or something. I mean, obviously not that trite, but like you could have like little notes like that kind of explain stuff.
Even without voiceover, I think if you planned out a smart enough gameplay sequence, you could have something where it's like, we're rushing through this huge open world city, and even like some normie would understand, like, what? I've never seen anything like this in a video game before.
Yeah, I agree too.
And then you can have press releases afterwards, like, yeah, that would be possible on PS4.
Yeah. You have another, do you have a game you want to talk about, or you're still going into the structure of the show itself?
I can talk about a game, but one thing I wanted to say about your Ape Escape thing as well, one thing interesting about it that also lends some credibility to them doing it is lately PlayStation, and I don't agree with this criticism, but lately PlayStation has been getting some level of flack because like they've been really focusing on these really hyper realistic, very cinematic games, and I think Ape Escape is a great like counter to that.
I agree.
Like, no, we have some fun cartoony style games here.
And I think that's why they kind of need it in a sense. I mean, like, that's the thing, like, people complain about that, and then those people don't buy Knack. Like, that's kind of like the issue. But like, exactly. Knack is not a known property. It's not cute looking. Like, Ape Escape is ridiculously appealing. Like, there's a bunch of apes, there's a bunch of monkeys having a good time throwing bananas at each other. You're capturing. Like, that's just ridiculously pleasant to look at, as opposed to like kind of a gross looking protagonist in Knack, like not pretty visuals. Like, Knack is like a cool game in concept, but like Ape Escape is just so much more appealing, and I think that's something that Sony would be interested in, especially after The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima, which are pretty violent games, like pretty dark, pretty violent games. I think it would be cool to have like something, at least, I mean, again, like
to open up their audience, because like I'm pretty sure like Spider-Man is the last like game that feels like widely accessible, because all their other games are like M-rated.
Exactly. That's another thing too. Like pretty much all their big games are God of War, Last of Us, Tsushima, are all even like their smaller stuff, like the Sony Bend game or whatever. I can't even remember what that game was called. Days Gone. Yeah, Days Gone's rated M. Like all those games are really dark, really bloody. I think it would be nice to have. It sounds weird saying, like, I don't really care about this personally, but like I would like to see a brighter, more pleasant-looking game.
I don't agree with these things where it's like, oh, I'm tired of the gritty. Like, I don't care as long as you're making good games. But like, yeah, it would be cool to see Ape Escape come back. Or my other game that ties into this whole discussion, and the reason why I brought it up, and it's a pretty wild one. I know it may not be realistic, but I've got my hopes up.
All right.
Ratchet and Clank, baby.
I've heard that from a couple of people, and I'm like, what? Ratchet and Clank, really? I mean,
the only reason this doesn't feel realistic is because it feels like they're working on Spider-Man 2 right now.
Yeah, but I mean, another developer could be working on this,
or a separate team, like a different team in there working on a Ratchet and Clank game. Please, I want a new Ratchet and Clank game. It could still push this like cartoony, very fun, accessible game to all your audience without, you know, it separates itself from all this other dark and gritty genre. And just, I love Ratchet and Clank. Like,
yeah, I do too. I would love to see a Ratchet and Clank. And I think that, like, again, like, similar to the argument about, like, Knack, like, Ratchet and Clank is recognizable. People love that brand. People love that character.
I think they're done with Knack. I know people are saying, like, Knack 3, like, jokes or whatever. I don't think that's happening.
I'm shocked that we got a Knack 2.
Escape and Ratchet and Clank are very, like, where they would fall back on if they wanted that kind of audience again.
Yeah. Again, like, the only, like, hey, like, Insomniac, they're working on Spider-Man 2. They would have to have like some of their team working on it. Sony did just recently purchase Insomniac, meaning I'm guessing they're probably getting a lot more funding for their games. Maybe they have like the resources where they could have a second team working on a game now. I'm not 100% sure. But in regards to like Ape Escape, Sony Japan Studio is doing nothing.
Yeah, I don't even know what they're doing right now.
They like help with some VR stuff. They help with some like with other projects. I think they helped with like Concrete Genie. Like this is like smaller stuff like that. They kind of like
it's time.
It's time, exactly. I think they helped with Shadow of the Colossus, that remake. I think they were involved with that as well. But like, it's time. Like it's time for them to really get a hold of something and like make a super gimmicky, fun platformer. But also, I mean, Ratchet and Clank as well. I would love to see. I think that's definitely more of a. I think that game even has more appeal than an Ape Escape, to be honest with you, because it is
more relevant.
Yeah, more relevant, and I think like it's like been gone long enough for people to care. It's been gone long, and that franchise has been gone long enough for people to be like, not too long where people have forgotten about it, like an Ape Escape. Like I feel like it's like we're on the precipice of something great with that franchise. I think, hopefully, fingers crossed.
I hope so. What's your next one?
I think this needs to be a joint discussion here. Okay. Should we talk about Blue Point?
Yeah, I have it written down.
So I wrote, what did I write down? Hang on. I wrote down Blue Point's next game, Legend of Dragoon Remake, Jack Trilogy, or Demon Souls? ? That's what I wrote down. I don't know.
The things that are most likely there are Demon Souls and that Jack thing.
I think so too.
And honestly, the Demon Souls thing is probably even way more likely because that's been rumored for like years. Like that's been something I've heard in the discourse about Blue Point for like since like 2018.
Yeah, since like basically right after Shadow of the Colossus.
Yeah. So I feel that is a possibility. My thing is, I just wonder. I love how much attention and hype this has gotten because I don't know how not popular, but I guess like how much people would care. Like, about like especially like a mainstream audience. Like I don't know how many people would care about a Demon Souls remake.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that too. I mean, we're again dipping into like Sony strategically having a more colorful game. Like Jack, I think would kind of satisfy that front.
Believe me, I would, and that's not speaking on my feelings. I would love a Jack and Daxter remake by Blue Point.
I would too.
But I just wonder, like, what's their ace up their sleeve? Because it feels like they're putting a lot of stock in whatever this Blue Point project is. I wonder, like, what's going on.
Yeah.
I even wonder if it could be like just something completely out of left field, and we're not aware of like some deal that Sony made, and we'll see like Blue Point Silent Hill 2 remake.
Yeah, dude, like, I mean, that's on a different level. And I actually have some stuff written down about like the Konami stuff as well. That's wild. That would be like, that's the showstopper. That's where tears start rolling down my face when I see stuff like that. But in regards to, I'm like, is Demon Souls worth it? Like, that's what I'm kind of curious about. Like, I feel like we're remaking a franchise that's so popular already. Like Dark Souls, like to me, Bloodborne is a sequel to Dark Souls. To me, Sekiro is a sequel to, I mean, I know other people don't see it that way. This is coming from someone that hasn't like played the franchise all the way through or even like loved the games or anything like that. But like, I feel like that's like that type of game is still, it hasn't hit its peak yet. Like it's still advancing in ways. And I'm curious, like, is that something worth remaking? Because like I know for a fact that like Demon Souls has.
If they did remake it, they would be updating that stuff though. So
yeah,
it's not like it would be like it was at the beginning.
Yeah, because like Demon Souls has like levels. There's it's not interconnected. There's like actual levels in that game, I believe, right?
I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, that's right. You've never played it. Yeah, I heard someone speaking about the game. I think Maximilian. He was talking about this. He was like, that game has like legit levels. It's not like Dark Souls where it's like all interconnected. It's like there's like here's level 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to like 15 or something. Like that's would that even work today? Like I don't even, especially considering Sekiro, especially considering possibly Elden Ring. Like that's just different kind of game making. I of course like Blue Point would, if they're remaking the game, of course they would change it. But like I'm just curious if people would be interested in that when an Elden Ring is going to exist in the next year or two. Like
yeah, that's the thing. Like it feels like it's destined to be dated almost immediately by whatever From Software is doing with Elden Ring.
And that's another thing too. It's like, Shadow of the Colossus, I feel like kind of just came and went. Like, that game looks incredible. It's one of the best looking games of this generation. One of the best games of this generation, of the PS2 generation and this generation. And I'm just like, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. I don't know a lot of people that even played it. And I'm kind of like, it makes me sad. Like, obviously, like, I wish that game sold more.
Well, no, I think that game was pretty popular. But the thing is, the thing that would, like, really set whatever Blue Point's working on, like, put it in the mainstream conscience is, one, it's got to be big. Like, I don't think even Demon Souls or Jak and Daxter are big enough to, like, warrant the kind of reaction I think they're going for.
Yeah.
Maybe they're not going for. Maybe this all got blown out of proportion, and this is mainly just supposed to be some small little project that is supposed to stand up next to, like, God of War 2 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you are going to make this a big thing, I think the way you do it is you just take something that you cannot translate one-to-one. Like Demon Souls, that still holds up. Like, you can still do 3D camera rotation and all that stuff. That still works today.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you need to do a Final Fantasy VII where, like, you are just completely reinventing the game.
And I don't know what Demon Souls looks like in reinvention. Like,
No, it wouldn't be Demon Souls because they can't reinvent that. I don't even think you could reinvent Jak and Daxter. Like, you need something old. You need something old and, like, worthy of that kind of, and it can't just be old, it has to be popular. It needs to be something that people care about.
That's why you need the Legend of Dragoon remake. I'm saying right now, like,
name that people would care about?
I probably not, but like, I feel like Legend of Dragoon is a very interesting look. I feel like that you could sell that as a brand new game today, like, in terms of, like, the world, the characters, and things like we don't see. That's a fantasy game. Like, we were talking earlier about Final Fantasy IX, like, before we started recording. Like, that is a game that is highly rooted in, like, fantasy. We just don't see that in next gen or, like, in current gen right now. And, like, I think that's something that, like, you see a fucking really cool looking trailer for that game, dragons flying around and things like that. Like, that would get people excited for sure. I think more than a Demon Souls, to be honest with you. But, like, that's just my personal perspective. And that would be something that they would completely reinvent. Like, that's going to be an action RPG now, probably. Yeah. Like, whole new, like, overhaul of the overworld, overhaul of the towns. Like, everything has to change. Like, that. And, like, Blue Point has said that their next game is the big one. They've literally, that's their exact phrasing. And
I just don't think that is the big one. I don't think Legend of Dragoon qualifies as the big one.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that territory, too. Like, I don't think people do care.
That's the thing. The only way this, like, lives up to, like, the standard that they're setting is if Sony has made some kind of deal with some other company that we're not aware of.
Where they, like, remake an old...
I thought of something right now.
Oh, God.
I just thought of something right now. You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. It happens. But I thought of it and I was like, that sounds right. That sounds like the big one. Chrono Trigger remake.
Yeah.
Blue Point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep.
Just
imagine that, dude. Imagine that. That would be Square owns that, right? That would be unreal. Yeah. That would be that's the kind of stuff where it's like we're crying. We're shit. Yeah. That's breaking the internet. Like, I honestly cannot even imagine those characters 3D. Like, that's how big of a deal that would have been.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just imagine that trailer, Akira Toriyama returning to do the arts. Like, oh my God, dude. Like, that would be insane. So amazing. I literally cannot imagine that. Yeah, that would be a big deal. That would be something, that's the big one.
Something along those lines. Like, just a deal that Sony made with some other, like, third-party company.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe, I don't know, maybe Sega. Bring something Sega related.
Maybe something.
That huge revolutionary announcement for Sega.
Yeah. Maybe they're remaking Sonic Adventure 2.
Well, might not even be a Sonic property.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something else.
Yeah, or maybe it's Metal Gear Solid. Like, I mean, that's the thing. Like, that's the kind of stuff that you're talking about. Like, we're reinventing the wheel with this game. Like, a Metal Gear Solid remake would be drastically different.
Yeah, I think Metal Gear's probably, like, in terms of, like, the big one, I think that qualifies.
Yeah.
But I just don't care really about, like, I've heard that, like, the first Metal Gear games and the Metal Gear Solid, like, I heard those are pretty simple.
Yeah, they are. And it's something that they can definitely, like, raise the ante up on and like make it look really great and make it play really great. But like people, as a franchise, people love Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 way more than 1.
Yeah.
Like 3 is like considered one of the greatest games ever made, and like especially like PlayStation games, like that's like held in such high regard, and like 1 is really not. A lot of people love 1. I love 1, but like 2 and 3 are like way up there in terms of like gameplay, in terms of characters and writing and stuff like that. Like I think I don't know. Like I'm not sure. Metal Gear's. I haven't thought about that franchise. I don't know where that series goes. Like I don't know what you do with Metal Gear Solid as a brand anymore because of what Konami did with it. Right, yeah, exactly. Like they're not doing anything with it.
Like, yeah, we need to see like if they actually, start making some deals and get other people to develop their games, because they clearly do not have the competence to do that.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing we can talk about is the Silent Hill remake or new Silent Hills PT thing happening, possibly the rumors like going on about like Sony acquiring the rights to develop a game in-house using the IP of Silent Hill. Do you think that's going to be showing up here? Or do you think that's a possibility? There's been so many rumors of that.
If that is true, then I think you will. I think, and this is kind of a general prediction, but I think there will be at least like 2, 3 like big like what?
Yeah.
What is going on right now? Like,
yeah.
Kind of announcements.
I think so too. And I think like the Silent Hill thing, the Chrono Trigger thing, that's gonna be like that's the kind of stuff that's gonna. You really got me sold on that Chrono Trigger remake now. That better happen.
The Chrono Trigger thing is like Blue Point has already done this. Like when they announced Shadow of the Colossus, that wasn't even a thought that occurred in my mind could be a possibility. Like when that first got revealed, I was like, are you kidding me right now? We're bringing this back?
Yeah. I remember watching that press conference with you, and like I didn't even know what it was. You knew what it was immediately, and you were like, oh my god, no way. Like you were like, what is happening right now? I was like, oh, no way. And then I started figuring it out, too. Like, that was such a good reveal. That was such a good reveal. And I hope that we're showing gameplay. I hope that's how they revealed this Blue Point game. They continue that. And it's just like, here's the game, dude. Like, we're maybe not playing it, but like, the trailer plays that. They don't like build it up like, now we're going to show you a revolutionary...
like, fade out, fade in trailers like they usually do. But the thing is, I want to clarify that I don't think everything will be long gameplay sequences. I think you will have a lot of 2 to 3 minute gameplay trailers in there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'll talk about what one of those trailers is going to be. We haven't talked about really third party yet, and I think that third party is going to have a significant role in this event as well. I don't think it's all going to be obvious.
I have third party stuff.
To me, the most likely, something I'm excited to see, something I think that's positively going to be there, at least I hope, is Resident Evil 8.
Yeah.
In those earnings report or whatever, they are predicting huge numbers for this upcoming fiscal year, which doesn't end until April. They have like 2 big titles coming out before then. 8 is absolutely, like, they're predicting huge numbers, like numbers that a brand new game would, like, not just like, oh, we're re-releasing Resident Evil 4 on PS5. Like, there's a new game coming for sure. And we heard those rumors regarding Resident Evil 8 called Resident Evil Village. That sounds super exciting.
Stuff like Chris and whatever.
Yeah, there's like witches involved, and like there's werewolves apparently too. Like that sounds sick. That sounds cool. I want to see a trailer for that. I want to see what that looks like. The power of the PS5, baby. I think like, and again, like it goes into like what's been going on recently with Capcom and PlayStation in regards to the franchise as well. Like Resident Evil 3 announced at a State of Play. Resident Evil 2 announced at 2018 E3 with PlayStation. Like that's kind of like PlayStation's little partnership with Capcom there, and I think that that's absolutely a possibility. And I think 7 was revealed at a PlayStation press conference as well. Like it was, and like that think that's going to continue here. There's no reason for it not to. The only like thing is Capcom actually has plans to announce something big on June 10th, I think. So maybe they have like a teaser trailer.
To whatever they show.
Yeah, maybe it's a teaser trailer and then it's like, oh, see gameplay on the 10th or whatever, or something like that. That would be cool. I'd be down. I think that I think Capcom is going to have something at this event for sure. Like, I think that's a no-brainer. But all eyes kind of go to Resident Evil 8. I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah. I have a different third-party thing prediction, and it's based on some leaks from some PlayStation Magazine stuff that got dropped a month or two ago.
Oh.
It's the thing that was like, oh, Horizon 2 is going to be there. Oh, all that stuff. And surprisingly, 2 other games were shown that I didn't think we would see for at least another year or 2. And that is The Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield. They're listed on that PlayStation Magazine.
No
as PS5 games that are going, like, in this little short blurb about, like, oh, there's going to be Assassin's Creed and Fortnite and all the usual things you would expect. They also have Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield there. Like, it's just there.
Why? Yeah, it's weird. Alongside Assassin's Creed, like, that doesn't make sense. Like,
I think Starfield will be shown. And Starfield.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, Pete, I don't know if you saw those tweets by Pete Hines where they were like, fans were like pestering him for Elder Scrolls 6 news, and he was like saying, that's years from now, dudes. Like, you guys need to shut up. That's not happening for a long. But I mean, obviously he could be lying. Bethesda has been known to lie. Hopefully they're lying for the power of good this time, just to keep people hyped for. I mean, that's the thing. Like, there was supposed to be a press conference. They literally announced a press conference like earlier this year at E3. So, like, obviously they have to have something. I'm assuming like maybe Doom DLC is probably going to be announced soon or something along the lines of that.
Like,
it's going to be Starfield.
There's going to be Starfield at this event. I think it's pretty safe to say that.
I think that, and I'm excited to see that game too.
Another Elder Scrolls 6 trailer might also be there, even if that game is years away, just to like keep fans saying like, oh, this game is still coming, don't worry. I feel like there might be a trailer there still. Yeah, the only thing that makes me kind of discredit that is Bethesda's kind of under the sheets with Microsoft lately in terms of like next gen stuff they've been talking about, like. That's true. So like that's the only thing that makes me discredit that, but like I want to see what the hell Starfield is. It was in the magazine. I'm gonna trust it for now.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's definitely absolutely. I mean, those games. It's a multi-platform game. Like, it's PC before anything with those games anyway. So, I think that like it's definitely a possibility. And plus, like, again, Bethesda was supposed to have a press conference. They have to have something in the pipeline. Like, what the hell were they planning on showing at that press conference? There's nothing, nothing else. Like, Wolfenstein is done.
I don't know, dude. Like, there was one Bethesda conference where they just literally had nothing. It was like, why did you even?
Yeah, straight up. I can already see it. Like, first we see a trailer for Starfield, little bit like suggested gameplay in the trailer, and then Todd Howard appears on your screen. And he's like, that was And then Todd Howard, the lovable liar, comes up and he's like, now it's time to take a look at something else we've been working on. And then we see another trailer for Elder Scrolls.
Another JPEG of the logo.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like you announce, it's like these games like are together in some way, but they're both like half a decade apart. Like, I don't know. But that would be cool. I've been dying to see what the hell Starfield even is. And what, hopefully they updated that engine. Hopefully there's actually something worth, getting excited about and playing.
No, it's gonna look like a PS3 game. That actually is kind of funny to me. I wonder if they wouldn't even allow that at their show because it would look so dated in comparison.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing too. That's another thing is like they literally say in that blog post, I read it about it in the last video I did about this event, is like, we are showing games that are utilizing the power of PS5. And like, obviously
like just downplaying your system like that.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, a big name like that might just be worth the hassle there.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a CG trailer. Like, that game's not coming out this year for sure.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a CG trailer, and then Todd Howard can say, "Hey, like, by the way, no loading times in this game. Like, it's gonna change the way we play." And then when we actually play the game, somehow there's gonna be loading times. Like, that's what's gonna happen. But I do agree with you that like Bethesda having an announcement here is possibly gonna be something that shows up. Another game that I have written down that's also a possibility, I guess, is kind of a game. It's already been announced. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Is like Godfall. That game is supposedly launching on PS5. I know not a ton of people are interested. It's like
I'm pretty
pretty slick. I wrote down 3 games that are absolutely going to be there. Godfall by Counterplay, that's the studio. Mortal Shell, which I'm not
Mortal
sick.
Shell here.
Yeah, I'm awake for that. That I'm excited about. That looks sick. We've seen like a little bit of gameplay. Like it looks really cool. Curious what that game's about. Looks like a Soulsborne kind of. I'm not really sure.
They describe it as body swapping Dark Souls on the PlayStation Magazine cover.
That's hype. That sounds hype. If it's on a PlayStation Magazine cover, they're kind of showing some allegiance there, possibly.
Yep.
And they also have a game that surprisingly has not been announced. It kind of already leaked already. Call of Duty, dude. Like, there's no doubt we're getting that Call of Duty reveal during this. I know it's disappointing. I know it's not fun, but like, that's absolutely. We're gonna get a 30-minute gameplay demo of Call of Duty. You know, Activision likes to talk, so I wouldn't be surprised. It's gonna be disappointing. It's definitely gonna be longer than it needs to be. I will say that.
But hey, I remember E3 2016. They like surprised us. There was that long Call of Duty Infinite Warfare trailer, but like it went on for like not even 10 minutes, like 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
we didn't have any idea what it was until the very end. So
Yeah.
hey, if they do something like that, good on them.
I think the rumor is Call of Duty Cold War or Black Ops Cold War. It's gonna be like
That'll be hard. It was easier with Infinite Warfare
because you're in
it was, like,
space.
sci-fi.
Yeah, you're like literally flying spaceships. So yeah, but cool. I mean, like it's always kind of fun seeing Call of Duty, like in a way. It's like
at least like a just little campaign section, like showing off insane graphics.
yeah, that's the thing. Like Modern Warfare, the reboot, the remake, or whatever the hell you want to call it. That game looks ridiculously good. That game looks like, what the fuck? Like, how did they get those visuals out on current gen and like the lighting and stuff? So it's absolutely, you're gonna see that game. It's gonna wow you, I think. And Activision's got the bucks to do it too.
Is that like those devs are like some of the best in terms
Yeah.
of visual? It's like that's a good showcase of like what PS5 is capable of.
Yeah, and plus, like, it's good to have like big third-party games too, like games that are gonna sell shit tons on PS5 and Xbox as well.
I guarantee you, just even though it's so obvious that that stuff is going to be on like everything, I guarantee that like PlayStation showing Call of Duty just guaranteed like another like 1 million sales or something.
Yeah, it really does, dude. Like that's the thing. They're marketing the console.
An impression.
Yeah, like this, call it what you want. This whole event is a commercial. Like that's what this is about. Like they're trying to get you to buy their console in a year where spending $500 isn't a great thing. So they definitely need to like show things to appeal to everybody. And like again, I hope that's why like I want Ape Escape to be here to like maybe get some families wanting to buy the console, maybe get some kids wanting to check it out and things like that.
I don't think they're like I think there will be like just like some games to go like family oriented, but I don't think that's going to be like an initiative to be like.
I don't think so either. Sony, I mean, they've never done that. Look at the PS3 marketing. There's literally like a baby doll with like crying black liquid out of his eye. Like I don't think that they've never really cared about that. All of their games are rated M.
How successful they are despite that. Like they like know exactly who they're targeting and they always target it really, really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think that like now that they have done that, it's time to expand. It's time to expand your crosshairs and start taking some Nintendo fans, like get some people that love Mario to invest in a PlayStation, get an Ape Escape, bring back Ratchet, maybe get that Jack trilogy going or something. You know what I mean? Like time to kind of push that forward. Do you have another game you want to talk about, or is there a specific?
I have a few games still here, and one of them has to tie back into this little Konami thing we talked about with like Silent Hill.
Oh yeah.
There were other properties that were rumored in that thing with Silent Hill. It wasn't just Silent Hill. Like Konami was like trading multiple IPs here, and I don't know how legit this rumor was.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's even a thing. But one thing, if it is true, that I really, really, really hope we see, and it was rumored, is a new Castlevania game for PS5.
Yeah.
And it's rumored that it's going to be very Soulsborne-esque. And I think that's the perfect direction to take that franchise in right now.
I think so too. It's a dead franchise, basically.
Yeah.
A franchise that only exists in mobile games and pachinko machines. Like, my question, I agree that like this is a possibility. We've heard these rumors. what if Bluepoint's doing like a Symphony of the Night remake in 3D? Like,
and I would, dude, that's your big thing. Like,
yeah,
that would be a huge deal.
Like Bluepoint pops on the screen, Konami pops on the screen, and then fucking you see like the castle in Symphony. Like, what is going on? Like, what? It's like lightning coming in.
That is like a big thing. That would get people talking.
Yeah, that I would love that. Like that, I'm like, that's day one buy right there for me. Like, I just like knowing Bluepoint, knowing like that world of Symphony of the Night, that would be incredible. Like, God, I didn't even think about that. Like, that's the thing. Like, they could remake an old game in a different way. Like, that was a side scroller. Like, playing that in 3D is a completely different. Oh man, that would be sick. That would be really sick. I would love that. Yeah. Now man, you're selling me, man. You're getting me excited about stuff that doesn't even exist. Like, that would be so cool. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be down for that. A question I want to ask you. Now, I'm kind of getting into the more technical side of things. Do you think they're gonna? Do you think they're gonna talk about backwards compatibility at all?
Oh yeah, dude. I have a huge thing.
Okay.
So I'll say this right now. So yes, there will be a small demonstration, maybe even just like a little like 5-minute montage showing backwards compatibility games on PS5. You're going to see The Last of Us Part 2, you're going to see God of War, you're going to see the Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man, maybe even Bloodborne, and they're going to really hit it home. Like, all of these games are playable, and they're all going to be running at 60 FPS.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to play them like you never could on PS4. And that's going to be a huge deal. And I have a little extra here, and I feel like maybe the boat for this should have already sailed away and I should have just given up, but I have this feeling, dude, maybe, just maybe, they show backwards compatibility for PS1, PS2, and PS3 games.
Yeah, there was that rumor.
To a little extent, like maybe even just select games. Like, I don't know what, like on PS4 they had those like PS2 classics and stuff. Like, maybe they expand on that and they've gotten like some of the most popular titles playable on this system.
Yeah, like re-emulate. I mean, we've talked about this before. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, people are going to buy them. You release PS1 classics, Legend of Dragoon. Like, you're gonna have some people there buying that game. Like, I'm not sure what the risk and reward is that for in terms of business, but like I would get super excited about that. And I know a lot. I'm actually shocked how this last week, after hearing this announcement, that's a big want is backwards compatibility. Like, a lot of people want like Bloodborne 60 FPS 4K. Let's go. Like, a lot of people want that.
Oh no, that is definitely one. But like, in terms of actual backward, especially for older games, like backwards compatibility for PS1, PS2, PS3.
Oh yeah, that's like,
I gotta be honest, I don't
dream
think
tier.
It's dream tier, but I also don't think that I think a lot of people want it conceptually, but like, if it actually happened, I feel like not that many people would actually
yeah, I feel like that too. I honestly, because I feel like that's kind of what's happening with like Game Pass. Game Pass is awesome, but like, no one's actually fully taking advantage of that service. Like, people are only downloading the games that they really want, which is like maybe 3 or 4 games.
Like Xbox and like Xbox 360 backwards compatibility. Like,
no one's playing Link's the Cat. Like, no.
Yeah. I don't know how many people are actually doing that. But then also, like, maybe that's just a thing with Xbox. Like, I don't know how many games are actually worth playing on Xbox One and Xbox 360.
I mean, that's a different discussion there.
PS1, PS2, PS3, you have like a mountain of highly acclaimed exclusives on those. So who knows? Yeah,
I mean, there's a bigger pool to pull from, as with like, you have a whole generation up on Microsoft in terms of like
it would definitely be a huge PR boost, but I think it's a little too far. I think it's like not worth the effort.
Or if it might be too early for that. That might be something they announce next year. Like, after the PS5's already launched, hey, we have this big initiative coming, PS2 games. Like, that could be something they announce in a state of play, like in November or something, or even like after the fact. But I think, again, that would get people really excited. Like, that puts PlayStation as a brand in the light for sure. I think you're absolutely right though about the montage. I think we're gonna see like Uncharted 4, God of War, Spider-Man. I think we're gonna see like a montage with all those Horizon and things like that. Like all playable on PS5 day one. Like I think that's absolutely gonna happen.
60 FPS just looks amazing, all in 4K or just something that tech speak to be like, yeah, you're gonna be able to play these better than ever.
Yeah, indie montage guaranteed as well. Actually, what I really think is there's gonna be some shockingly good indie games. I think you're gonna see.
Back to that whatever that was, the Witchfire or whatever that like.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
God game.
Where is that? We haven't seen that in literal years. Where has that been? That's a little I'm kind of worried actually, but that's by like the Bulletstorm guys and the what is that other studio? I don't know. I'm super excited about.
Ethan Carter.
Yeah, that's just in concept is really, really cool. That's a really cool reveal too. I'm just waiting for the day to see that game again. I really am.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that we're gonna get like obviously we're gonna get like an indie montage or at least a showcase of a couple of indie games that are gonna be available day one. Stuff I think that is gonna take advantage of the SSD, like indie games that take advantage of that stuff, where we're like. It's almost like a gimmick at a point where like just a huge city pops up on the screen. We speed through that city at 100 miles an hour, and then we jump into another. You know what I mean? Like
it's gonna show off the power.
Yeah. It might not be like great in terms of gameplay, but I think we're gonna see like stuff that really like showcases that kind of stuff. Dreams as well. I think that like Dreams is gonna pop up, and you're gonna have like Media Molecule say like, hey, like now you can do more in your levels in Dreams when you're making your level. It's coming to PS5, obviously. You can do more. Like you don't have as much limitations. You can add more to your levels because of the SSD. Things like that, I think could be really, really cool. Is Fortnite popping up? You think we're gonna get some Fortnite news?
I hope not. But
think we're gonna get a Fortnite trailer? Never put it past Fortnite. It's always possible. Every press conference, every event, Game Awards, State of Play, everything. Fortnite.
That's like a Microsoft thing to like include everything. I don't know if Sony's gonna do that, but we'll see.
Starting to show some allegiance with Epic though.
Yeah, I don't know. I have another thing here for not a game, but just for the system itself. And this was part of a rumor that I didn't even know about until like I was searching for like just stuff as I was crafting this predictions list earlier.
Mm-hmm.
There's this rumor about the PS5 dashboard, and apparently it's being called revolutionary. Like, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, what?
I don't know what that entails, but I think you're going to get a big, well, not a big, but just like a showcase of like how the SSD is going to change the dashboard. Like things are going to load instantaneously. You're going to be able to go from thing to thing to thing, just all, like at a moment's notice.
This is what Mark Cerny pops up here.
That might actually be like what even beyond like a game. I think that might be what they really choose to like demonstrate. This is what the SSD can do for our system.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly one of my biggest complaints about the PS4 is like
it's slow. It's horrendous.
So like just if you click on PlayStation Store, that thing takes, I'm not even joking, like 15 seconds to load properly.
Yeah.
Like, that is ridiculous. To click on a game, like, it'll sit on a black screen for, like, 15 seconds, then the game actually starts. Like, it's slow. It's super slow. And, like, even going to friends, it's just, like, really, really laggy. And, like, downloading stuff is super slow. To, like, go to your it's just, like, not super intuitive either. Like, I don't hate the PS4 menu, but, like, there's definitely some fixes and definitely some things that I think could make it a lot better. I'd want to see that. I'd love to see like the menu. I don't know. The one thing that makes me kind of discredit that is like, or not even discredit it, but like Jim Ryan said in that blog. I keep going back to this blog post, but Jim Ryan said that like this is the start of PS5 news. Like we're gonna have a rollout.
Things, but I feel like where they're going to show. I feel like they said that so that we're not expecting like some big related announcement, and I might as well tie this into what I think. I think you will possibly see the price here.
Whew.
Because we're not expecting it. I think they're gonna drop it, and that's gonna be the reason why they drop it is because we're not expecting it, and it's gonna blow everybody out the water.
Yeah, I mean that's 450. Fingers crossed. I agree. I definitely agree that that's a great strategy. But like, man, like all the tech talk and rumors have been going around that like Sony's waiting for Microsoft to make a move.
Yeah, I know, but like eventually
they always have.
Eventually, you have to stop. Like,
yeah, they're playing chicken. They're playing chicken for sure. And like, if someone's gonna have to make a move,
having that first impression is like also important as well. So like, unless I don't know, man, it's totally possible that they're not gonna show the price here. I was just,
yeah, getting excited for sure. But like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think that like that's for another presentation. Is like Mark Cerny just like going through the main menu of PS5 and like talking about like quality of life stuff. I don't know. Maybe that's a state of play, or maybe that's happening here. I don't know. Again, it's over an hour. I think there's room for more than just games. Like, I think there's room for more than just.
There's a ton of room.
Yeah, like there's
I think a ton of room for a bunch of stuff.
So I mean, of course, I want to see that. I just, man, I don't know. And just in terms of like what other events do they have planned? Is this just talking about, hey, we might see a trailer for something later, or hey, we're gonna have another big PlayStation press conference in July. Like, I don't know. Because Xbox has that thing in July too. They're showing off Halo and big boy stuff in July. That's when they revealed the new Fable remake or whatever. Like, so I don't know. Like, I don't know when they time these kinds of things, or maybe they have something to do with Summer Game Fest as well. That they've had some random announcements and things like that. I feel like Summer Game Fest has been kind of quiet lately in terms of like getting the gets or whatever.
Well,
so
I feel like Summer Games Fest was always kind of impromptu, which is why it's like really leeching off of announcements that were already going to be made anyways.
Yeah, not like just like spreading the word, kind of like really just like kind of get behind stuff. They've had some exclusives though. I mean, with Epic Games and even the Valorant stuff or whatever too. But like, I'm curious if like if more of that stuff's coming in regards to PlayStation, or if they're just. I think PlayStation has their own plan though. I think they have their own sort of eyes on their prize or whatever.
Oh yeah, they've never. Strategy.
They've always done that. Yeah, and do you have any more games or any more? Start bring them at me, because I went through my list. I'm done.
Okay. So here's another prediction of mine, and it has to do with something that they announced a little bit ago with the DualSense, and that is the create button.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm not sure if, like you said, they have multiple events planned, so we might not even be able to see what they're going to do with that at this event. But I think it's going to be really interesting, because they really sold it as like we're changing this up. Like, it's going to be the share button, but it's going to be different. Like, it's going to have additional things. And like, I thought about that. I was like, what could they possibly add to this thing that like would make it more interesting and like wasn't a part of PS4? Because like, my first thought was like, okay, maybe it's like a video editor, like you can edit your clips in the system. But it's like, PS4 had that. Like, you could do that in PS4.
Yeah, do it with videos, pictures too. Excuse me.
Yeah. So is it just like, is it more an more extensive editor, or like, is there something else going on with this thing that we're not aware of? And I've had this thought for a while, and I've seen this floating around a little bit. I think the create button could possibly just be
a photo mode.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal it from you.
Okay, a full photo mode for literally every game on their console. At least every first-party game.
Yeah.
Maybe, hopefully, just extends to everything. Otherwise, what would be the point?
I mean, that might be just something that every third-party studio invests in, and because we've seen how popular photo modes are. Like, that shows off a game in a great way on like Twitter and Facebook or whatever.
I'm impressed with the just the advent of the share button, because I remember when PS4 was revealed, people thought it was stupid. People thought, a share button? What the heck? Where's the select button? What are you doing now? And now I use the share button. Like, everyone uses the share button. Like, that was they were the first people to do that too. Like, that is such a really novel concept that ended up taking off like right when it needed to, like in this age of social media.
Yeah.
In this age of us wanting to like take screenshots, share all of these little moments like that was really smart of them. So I'm really interested in what they do with that now.
And like, to what you're saying, like, it just all of a sudden kicked off. I think photo modes are what did it. Like, before it was just like you're taking a screenshot essentially, but then like games started like, hey, there's actually you can really go in to add filters and little bitmojis or whatever on your pictures.
Tsushima, like, now animated. Like scenes are animated.
Yeah,
in
that's
photo mode.
insane. I guarantee you, Last of Us has something similar to that too. I guarantee you, Last of Us has a photo mode. And I think Nintendo helped with that too, honestly, because their photo mode is super popular as well with like games like Animal Crossing. I feel like it's just like blown up. Like photo mode, taking pictures in games has just like blown up. Like being able to share games like that. I think that the create button could be that. It could be more than that. It could link you to Sony Vegas. Maybe there's Sony Vegas inside the PS5. But like there could be like a lot more going on. Maybe they incorporate streaming into their console. Maybe you don't need an Elgato. Maybe just plug in something into your computer and you can stream straight from the box or something. Maybe
you can.
Kind of. It's like it doesn't work that well. I've actually done that before with Spider-Man. It like kind of works, but like I doubt there's like a capture card inside of the PS. I don't think that could even work. But like
you can stream from the PS4.
Yeah, you can stream from it, but like it just uses like internet connection. You're essentially it's like a remote control basically. I think it's actually called that. It's like remote play. I think is what it's called. It kind of works.
Wait, you mean like playing remote plays when like you're playing somebody else's game? I'm talking like streaming, as in like streaming to Twitch and stuff.
Yeah. But I meant like with the create button, they can like add where like you can see chat on your screen. You can like, you know what I mean? Like you're creating, like you can, or make YouTube videos.
You can do that on PS4 though.
Yeah, but like I meant like they can advance it. Like I meant like that's what the create button is. It's like they like there's more interaction.
How far are they taking is the real question. Like, are we just gonna? Is it just gonna be like iterative, like very? They're gonna be upgrades to things that already exist, or are we gonna see brand new additions to this button?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, we haven't talked about like gimmicks. Like the controller has like haptic feedback. The console itself has.
They've already discussed like what's gimmicky about it in that controller. Like, I don't think there's gonna be really anything in the console itself.
I don't think so either. Honestly. Yeah, I think so too. But like in regards to like how they set themselves apart from like you said with the PS4, they had literally a photo button, like a camera button, like that. I don't want to say that's a gimmick, but that was innovative. That was something that no other console was doing at the time. Like what is PS5's that? Like what are they doing to? It's obviously going to be like the create button or again like haptic feedback and things like that. But like, is there going to be something else? Integrated in the UI and in the system itself that's going to set itself apart from Series X and Switch.
A revolutionary dashboard.
Revolution, yeah, that too. Maybe it's like you're inside of it. Maybe it's PlayStation Home and you like walk to your games.
There were some rumors about like, wasn't there a rumor about like the PlayStation Store, how you can just literally try any game from the store? Like you don't even have to download it.
Yeah, I actually heard that. I remember I've heard some people talk about it. I think Digital Foundry was actually talking about that. How that could be a possibility where like demos, there's no such thing as like downloading a demo. It's just like you just start it and you're playing it like from the store. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
Like where it's like, oh, this game looks kind of cool. Let me see what this looks like. Just click on it and just play it for a little bit. Like they give you like a 5-minute trial or something.
That's insane.
That's even possible is insane, especially with like cloud shit and like streaming and stuff, like streaming games. I mean, that makes it even more possible, but also the SSD makes it possible as well. So
this isn't really a prediction, but I'm just so happy that like with this SSD, like no more like turbojet noise from PS. Like apparently the PS5 is like super quiet.
Oh, thank God, dude! Thank God, man. That's that is my least favorite part about the PS4.
Yeah, the PS4 is like a turbojet from an airplane or something. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That, and I love that like we're just in this age, hopefully, with consoles where like loading just isn't a thing anymore that we have to worry about. Like no more wasting time just sitting around waiting.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing, I don't mean to like mention other creators and things like that, but like Maximilian, he was talking about how next-gen games, how the SSD can affect fighting games. I streamed Soul Calibur 6 recently. There is so much fucking loading in that game. You are sitting in menus and waiting for matches, waiting for stages to load so much in that it like hinders the game. It like makes the game less fun to play. And like that's gone. Like that at least can be gone. Like you don't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, obviously you still have to find a match and things like that, but like loading character models is not gonna really have an effect on a fighting, especially a fighting game. That's crazy. Like, a lot of people are talking about, hey, open world games, you don't have to crawl through crevices anymore. Like, it affects more than just open world games. Like, we're talking fighting games, we're talking puzzle games, like indie. Yeah, like indie. I think there is going to be like indie games, or even maybe like an Ape Escape that is like a super gimmicky kind of like almost like third wall breaking kind of game, where it's like, hey, this is a video game, look what you can do with this game. Like, it's kind of like one of those kind of games. Where like it showcases what the power of the SSD is in a way that's like on the nose and very obvious. Like, hey, look at this shit. This is super cool. Would not be possible on PS4 or any current console. Like, that's actually what I'm hoping for most, actually, because that's what we did not get. Sorry, go ahead.
That's what I'm agreeing with you. Like, I want to be sold on next gen, because like Series X, that whole
Inside Xbox,
event, it didn't. I kept like every single time I saw a new game, I kept wanting to. I was like in denial almost. I was like, maybe this is next gen.
Yeah.
Next gen. But I want to see something like Unreal Engine 5 demo where I'm like, this is next gen. Like, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah. And like, I don't want people to get confused. It's like, because I've heard people make that same statement on like Twitter and things like that, and like people are like, there's no way, like, you know how hard it is for developers to make a 40-hour game look like the Unreal Engine 5 demo. Like, that's just like a 5-minute demo. I'm not just focused on graphics and detail. Like, I'm looking for like other things that affect games. And that's what Microsoft did not show, is like the SSD. Like, that's what I'm looking for, is like, hey, like, things can load faster. I've not seen a demonstration of that. We as like an audience,
I still had that very small one, but it was like,
it's Minecraft. It was like Minecraft.
It was State of Decay.
State of Decay, like, that's almost worse in terms of like what you're loading.
It wasn't. It was like, I remember how they sold it. They were like, this is what an SSD can do with no optimizations, just like very, you know, we haven't touched this thing, we haven't altered the code in any way.
They're
just how the game loads on an SSD. And it was faster. It was much faster, but like, it didn't really feel like anything special to me. Like, I have an SSD. Like, that isn't anything special. Whereas like what Sony's promising, like in that little thing that they had, they said no loading.
Yeah.
No, zero loading will ever be a thing again. And in that Microsoft thing, it was like, oh, this loads like in 15 or 25 seconds instead of a minute 30, which is a huge jump. But like,
yeah,
it still doesn't feel special to me. It feels like, okay, so you're just upgrading what you had before.
Yeah, and it's not.
Like, I look at PS5 and it's like, this is like game changing, possibly.
Yeah, and that phrase right there, game changing. I don't want to just like see, oh, look, Tony Hawk load faster. Like, I want to see how this is impacting game development. Like, that's what we have not seen, and that's what I hoped. Maybe it's too early for that. Yeah, like open world games, or even like an indie game that doesn't have to be developed. You know, doesn't need this huge team. Where like, hey, we're just a 5-team studio. We can go in and mess around with the SSD. Yeah, where it's like,
I think you're gonna see that from other developers, because like when that PS5 event happened, like their developers were rushing to Twitter to be like, you guys have no idea how big of a deal this is for game development.
Yeah, there's that popular video on YouTube. It's like game developer reacts to U-Eat-5, and it's like he's losing his mind. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. And not just that, like I've seen developers, like the developer from The Order was like, this system is potentially revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, the SSD itself, it's custom made. Like, that could change.
It's more powerful than anything you can get on a PC right now.
Yeah,
which is already that's already intriguing to me. That like usually you never see that, like systems that are like dealing with hardware that like PCs don't even have, and it's like, that's interesting to me that we're in this stage where like, even if, you know, our power, the performance isn't as much as like Series X or a PC, like there is something about it that is proprietary and like exclusive to this thing that could fundamentally shape the way this works.
Yeah, I agree. And I want a sliver of that. That's kind of my main. I just want to see like something where I mean, like, I think there's going to be a few things probably during this presentation where I'm like, wow, like, this is why I want to buy a PS5. Like, this is why I want to drop $500 in the winter. Like, I want a reason. I want to see Ape Escape and be blown away. I want to see those games and just like kind of lose my mind. And that's something that wasn't during Inside Xbox. I mean, like, I honestly, like, I feel like shameful for shitting on that Inside Xbox, because I feel like it's just like all super small indie games, and like those games look awesome, but like they marketed that thing horribly. Like,
That was very not smart.
No, it was so bad. They literally said gameplay. We got like maybe out of the entire event 2 minutes of gameplay.
Like, undersell it like they should have. Like they should have made it explicitly clear. These are indie games. These are not like first party. These are not like. This is not like. I remember they sold it. They were like, get your first look at Series X gameplay.
Get your first look at next gen gameplay, not just Series X. The first time we've ever seen next gen gameplay. Period.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. And it's like, way to oversell it. Like, what were you thinking there?
Yeah, and then have nothing to show.
In prime position to be like upstaged
ridiculed
by Sony if this PS5 event actually turns out well.
I mean, it's definitely going to be better than that already. Like, I can already guarantee it's going to be better than that. First and foremost, it's longer. They have much more to show. PlayStation has been in the dark for the last, arguably the last 6 months.
I think people are just more interested in what they're showing too.
That's the thing. It's like I care about Sony IP more than Microsoft IP.
Well, we talked about this. Like, I went through like all of those developers that Microsoft has under them, and I was like, I'm not seeing anything here that I care about.
You
got Halo, you got Gears of War, and you got Hellblade, and that's really like the extent of like your big jaw-dropping games that you have on there.
Yeah, and like those personally don't excite me. I know there's some fans.
Me either.
But like, I feel like Microsoft is investing in the future, and PlayStation is like, I feel like PlayStation, like Sony right now, is Avengers Endgame, and Microsoft right now is like Iron Man 1. Where they're just now like kind of establishing their universe. They're trying to like, oh, there's Nick Fury. Let's get some more games. Let's get some more. This is a bigger world. We got more characters and more shit to play with.
I was like, wait, what? But now that you're explaining, I'm like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because now they're starting to invest in all these studios, but like
they're just now making they're just now making cool IP. Like maybe in the next 5 years, Microsoft has something to like, oh shit, like there's a new franchise right there. Like look forward to more sequels to that and like. But like Sony already has that
on their studios for the last 10 plus years.
Yeah, and not only has sequels, but has like again like the Avengers aren't the games; they're the studios that make the games. Like that's what the analogy is, and like they already have like this band of just great developers that know how to.
They're like allowing to go outside their comfort zone too, like make new things.
Yeah.
And when was the last? Do you think that like Microsoft would ever let like Volit or what's this studio that makes Gears of War?
The Coalition.
Coalition. Like, do you think they'd ever let like? They're working on Gears of 6 right now. Like, I don't see them like letting them work on a different property.
Like here, take a new. I mean, maybe now though. I mean, I feel like that's like we'll see what Microsoft. They said they're showing our first party in July, so I'll make my judgment then. Like, if I see like 3 or 4 brand new looking IP from like these studios, then I'll be like, okay, this is kind of cool.
Speaking of new IP, I feel like that's a thing.
I feel like that's something I wanted to mention, but like you can't really predict what the hell that's going to be. I think
you can predict what studios are going to be working on them, though.
Yeah. What studio?
Are there any free studios?
Are there any free studios?
Like, are there any studios that have been kind of radio silent right now?
Oh yeah.
Working on a new IP.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Rocksteady, baby.
That's not Sony though. You mean okay? So
what is it? I mean, I'm just saying in general, like what could show up at the presentation. We didn't talk about Rocksteady. Like that game is very due for an announcement.
That's Batman though, or that's not Batman?
That's not Batman. I know we always get this confused. Like. There's WB Montreal, the ones that made Arkham Origins. They're the one making the Batman Court of Owls game that's might show up here as well. I don't know. WB, something else to note is they were supposed to have a press conference at E3.
Oh.
I don't know if you heard about that, but like a little after E3 was canceled, like there was like a document that got leaked that like said they rented a space, they were gonna have a press conference. So there's something, they have something to show, and we're around June right now, and Rocksteady and Batman and like that, Harry Potter maybe, that's what I was thinking, like it's gonna be 3 games, Harry Potter, Rocksteady, probably some new IP, and the Batman game. Like that's what WB is showing off. They don't have a space to show that off.
All of that?
Oh hell no! I think they'll spread these out for sure. They'll probably show some shit off at Microsoft's thing too. But I think Rocksteady has a huge chance during PlayStation's And I'm
Rocksteady.
damn excited for that. But is there another studio that you had in mind that like could be making a new IP or just like a new game in general?
Genuinely, no. Like I was actually.
Oh, you're just asking. Gotcha.
Like, I can't remember if there are any Sony studios that I'm not thinking of.
Yeah, I can't either. I mean, there's like maybe what's the studio that they just recently acquired? I can't remember. I guess Insomniac they acquired. Maybe they poured over Sunset Overdrive, bring that on the PS5. I doubt.
Honestly, like, that's not even an impossibility, though.
I feel like that's just gonna show up like on PS Plus for free, like in a couple months. To be real with you, like I don't think that's like an announcement worth like. I mean, people would get hype about that. People have been wanting to play that game for a while, so I think that could be something pretty cool. But I'm thinking like just in terms of like just third-party developers and publishers and things like that. Elden Ring, you think that's got a chance of popping up over here? Over and under 60%.
I would say over, man. I think that really does have a chance. Because basically what this is right now is like replacement E3. Like this is what E3 would have been before.
Yeah, because that's and I feel like that too. I feel like once when E3 was canceled, Sony, Microsoft, and possibly Nintendo were just scrambling to grab like third-party announcements that were going to happen. Like Warner Brothers or Bethesda they were going to both have press conferences in June. They can't really do their own digital direct thing. They don't want to just have a trailer for a game. They want to show it off on a stage that people are actually going to watch. You know, people are making those gets. They're paying money to get that stuff. So I don't know if Elden Ring had a chance of popping up at E3, but like I think there's a chance. It's been a year since we've seen that game. Maybe we get a new trailer. Maybe we get some new details. I don't know. I want to see it. God, I want to see that game.
I offhandedly mention this, but I feel like I need to give it its proper due because this is probably my most anticipated announcement if this happens at
really?
Thing. God of War 2, man.
Whew.
Make it happen.
Whew.
That would be the showstopper. That would be the thing that everyone's talking about at the end of this thing.
That would be the one last thing. That would be the last announcement. At least if I was structuring the show.
Even just a small trailer would be fine. Just give me something, man.
Just play that music. Just like have like something. Just like we're like, you know.
Show me the Thor battle.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god. Literally, you can just continue right from the first game. Like just like continue sort of like that scene or that at least those themes that they set up in the first game where you could like have a little cutscene to announce the game. And I mean, God of War was one of my favorite games this generation. I adore that game. And
maybe in terms of PS4, I think that might be my favorite PS4 exclusive.
Yeah, it's super good. And I'm excited to see what they do next with that game. I feel like something that's been rumored for a long time in regards to like PS4 exclusives, and I feel like we failed to mention it, is Horizon 2. A lot of people have been saying
because it's just like that's a given.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the thing that's definitely going to be there.
Yeah, I'm actually I would be disappointed if it. I don't want to say I'm disappointed if Horizon 2. I would be more. I'd be excited if Guerrilla was working on a new game. If it was like not even Horizon. If it was.
There's no way.
There's no way. It's Horizon. That game sold ridiculously well.
The thing with I want to see something new. Like I want to see something about it that feels like refreshing. Because right now, like I didn't play Horizon 1, so maybe I'm just like not in the market for like being excited about it. But I'm just like I want to see something that gets me excited because I'm not feeling the hype right now.
I mean, that's your open world game taking advantage of the SSD right there. That could be the game that they.
Like I want to see Aloy just like using a glider to Breath of the Wild style to like fly across this map at super high speeds or something.
Or like I would do like a turbo jetpack jet engine. She like retrogrades or something, but she just like flies across the whole open world or something. But yeah, like I would definitely like if that game does exist, that's gonna be a pretty that's a big franchise. Like people will get excited for that. Like I feel like Horizon definitely succeeded on that front. It's got like brand recognition, and I feel like that like there's enough there where they could build on, and hopefully make an exciting game.
With Sony, like every time they like well, not every time. Knack was a failure, but like most of the time when they like really try to push for like a new IP, it really ends up paying off for them.
Yeah, it does. I would say that like obviously there's your Knacks, there's your Days Gone and things like that, but like I think that like obviously those are much smaller scale games. Like
such a bizarre miscalculation on their part, especially after Last of Us. Like
it's so that was just a weird game to make. Like if I was Sony, I would say don't make this game. Like I would say
I don't know what they were thinking with that.
I mean I have nothing against that game. I've heard it's like pretty decent. It's like swimming in sevens, as we like to say, but like it's just a weird game. It's kind of, but it sold extremely well apparently. So I mean, it sold well enough to warrant the release at least. But yeah, new IP is something that I definitely want to see. Maybe it's that studio. Maybe it's Sony Bend. Maybe they're working on Siphon Filter again. Maybe those Siphon Filter rumors come true. Maybe Blue Point's working on Siphon Filter.
We're not considering. They don't have Blue Point yet, right? They haven't bought Blue Point.
I don't know. I actually don't know that one. I actually don't know that.
I don't think they have Blue Point.
Acquisitions.
I'm looking at this thing right now. Blue Point isn't listed, so I don't think they have Blue Point. But the thing I'm wondering is like, just because they don't own a studio doesn't mean they can't license exclusives, which is still a big deal. Because like at the beginning of PS4, like you had them licensing like The Order and stuff from a separate studio.
Yeah.
And that is
or Bloodborne.
Arguably, and Bloodborne. Like those games are like some of the best looking games on the system. And
Bloodborne is considered the best game of the one of the best games ever made. Bloodborne is
I love Blood. Yeah, I kind of take it back actually. I think I might like Bloodborne more than God of War, but they're close. Those two were amazing games. But yeah, like I think you could see like some game come out of nowhere from this other studio that we're not expecting, that they licensed for an exclusive.
Yeah, that goes back into like the Castlevania stuff and things like that.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, like that. I mean, Sony's been. I mean, I'm thinking just like acquisitions in general. Do you think that like Sony would like announce the acquisition of a studio here?
Oh, it's possible.
What if that revolutionary Sega news is Sony bought Sega?
Sony bought Sega. You never know, man. You never know.
That would be ridiculously insane. But like, that's, I mean, hey, like I doubt that. But like in terms of like smaller studios and things like that, like I would be down. Microsoft's making moves. Sony just recently purchased Insomniac. Maybe they're willing to make moves too.
Like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Decision.
Maybe they buy Blue Point. I don't know. Sony's never sort of publicized the business of their company. They've never really like talked about that. Like they've never really been like proud of that. Like that acquisition of Insomniac wasn't like in a state of play or anything. That was just like a random.
That was still a huge deal, though.
It was a huge deal. It was a huge deal. People definitely talked about that for a while. I'd be down.
Excited about that. Like people are defending Microsoft right now, saying like, "Look at all these studios they got." It's like I don't care about that until I see some games, but I think people do care about that stuff. So I don't know. Maybe they'll start doing that.
Yeah, that could be interesting. I think that like my big wishes right now: Silent Hill in some way, shape, or form, Ape Escape some way, shape, or form, Castlevania some way, shape, or form. That's like really kind of what I'm hoping for. But like I'm honestly like new IP I really want to see, and I want to see like what the PS5 is capable of in terms of SSD and in terms of how games are gonna. I don't think we're gonna see like, again, like unless it's like a Horizon, I don't think we're gonna see like third-party games really taking advantage of SSD. But like I think indie games or smaller scale games that just got into development like a year ago or a year or two ago can really start taking advantage of it and be showcased in a compelling way. That's kind of what I'm hoping for.
I did have one more here.
Oh yeah, so I didn't mean to like wrap up or anything. I was just kind of like...
Yeah. It's okay. I did have one more like dream time announcement here that I'm like, probably not happening, but like if it does happen, and I don't think it's an impossibility like some people would say, but I think this would really like showstop, be a huge crowd pleaser. And now that I'm thinking, well, I'll bring this up after I bring this up, but Final Fantasy 16, man, I think it's possible.
I've heard that typed around. I've seen it mentioned. I've heard whispers.
I think there are 2 different teams working on 7 Remake and 16 right now.
I think so too. And God, we know that Square Enix is they just invested in like an AI studio like a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple days ago. They developed a new team to work on AI in video games or something. So like they're making moves. They're business. Like they mean business. They're trying to make as much money as possible. And
like, there's no way you can just survive off of like a 7 Remake every like 5 years. Like that just doesn't work.
It doesn't. I mean, god damn though, did you see the sales for 7 though? Like,
I heard they were behind 15 though.
I've heard it's the best-selling Final Fantasy game ever.
Is that true? I heard that the opening like week in sales were less than 15, which is why I was like, I don't know.
I watched the ECLA's podcast, the MPDs. They were saying it was the best-selling Final Fantasy game ever.
Okay.
But I mean, it is.
But still, like you can't just rely on that every 5 years. Like,
oh no, I wasn't even. That wasn't my argument. I was saying that like Final Fantasy as a brand is hot right now. Like it's time to fucking announce 16. It's time to like let's start going. Like let's announce spin-offs. Let's start doing. Final Fantasy is more alive than it's ever been right now, and I would be down to see a 16. I don't know what the hell that is. I don't know like what exactly is a 16, but like I want to see it.
Fantasy.
Yeah, please. Or what if they just announced Final Fantasy VIII remake?
But the thing with the Sony,
just completely disregard that. Like, don't
no 8 remake there. The thing with this event here is I think we're solely lacking in maybe not Japanese games, but very RPGs, like Japanese RPGs. Like I feel like Sony has kind of made a name for themselves with PS4. Like they were the main studio that was really pushing for RPGs. Like you had like Nier Automata, you had Persona 5, you had the Final Fantasies. Like I feel like
Yakuza,
Yakuza 7.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think that's a strong, maybe from a new studio, maybe a Legend of Dragoon remake. I mean, like, there's definitely a
remake,
or Chrono Trigger, something along those lines would excite me. I've been just loving art. That's the thing. I think that like with 15 success, with 7 success, RPGs in general might be hot. I think that's something that you might see studios invest in, or might see, publishers invest in, is more RPGs. Yeah. There's kind of a lot of buzz about Yakuza 7. I think Persona is super hot too. Like Persona 5 Royal sold really well, and people are streaming it. It's like super popular.
Part of me wonders if like something like Shin Megami Tensei 5, like that was a Switch exclusive. I wonder if like something happened and like it's been dead for so long. Maybe Sony said, let us get this on our system and we'll help you out or something. Yeah,
we're launching this on PS5 and Switch somehow, but I don't think that game's gonna be that big of a deal in terms of next gen. But like, it's
just like something like I feel like they want some of those like really cult niche hits on their system to say like, yeah, we have Shin Megami Tensei 5 at our presentation. This game you've been waiting like for 5 years for. Here's a trailer for it.
Here's a trailer for Scalebound, that game you've been waiting for. I mean, like, that's in the same realm, though. Like, I mean, like, kind of. And there was some, like, weird... I don't think that's possible. I think, actually, Microsoft owns that IP.
Like, are they doing anything that could be on PS5?
What studio? Sorry.
Platinum.
I mean, they did say... They had that 4th announcement, which was, like, a joke. It was, like, some, like April Fool's joke or whatever. And then at the end of that, they said, we have a 5th announcement coming. We never got that 5th announcement.
It would be so hilarious if Scalebound came back.
And it looks like completely different. Like, it looks like...
That would be like a cheer moment. Like, everyone would be cheering, like, Scalebound's back.
I would be up.
It's so funny. It's so funny that game like got such a following, even though like they barely showed any of it. Like it's crazy how games like that work. Just like
and even honestly, what they showed didn't look great. To be real with you, like
it didn't look great.
Like I was not impressed by that game. But as soon as it got canceled, I was like, come on, what the hell? Like
the only interesting thing that Microsoft was actually investing in.
I know.
Other than like Sunset Overdrive. Man, Microsoft has the capability to be pushing cool exclusives, and then they just stopped.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 3, that was reasonably exciting for an exclusive.
Oh, you know what would get the cheers? What would get the internet breaking? That Deep Down, dude.
Yeah.
That's been like, everyone wants that game. I don't know what the hell that game even is. That's Capcom, dude.
Oh, another Capcom.
Yeah, that's Capcom. Deep Down using the RE engine, maybe? It's possible. I don't know, like, who cares? Like, I mean, like, definitely, like, a lot of, like, insiders and, like, people like us that have knowledge of it, but, like, in terms of, like, consumers, like, that kind of sounds dumb.
That's the thing, like, we can speculate about those, like, little things that, like, people have been waiting for, but it's, like, in terms of, like, mainstream audience, nobody cares. Like, Horizon 2, God of War 2, like, those are the things that get
Resident Evil 8.
reactions. Yeah, Resident Evil 8. Those are the things that get the huge reactions.
Yeah, my kind of last did you have another, like, prediction or anything else you wanted to add before we kind of start winding down?
Yeah, I have one last thing here.
Go for it.
It doesn't have to do with any game, but just in terms of the console itself, you talked about it earlier. I think we will get a console, like, box reveal, and I don't think it will have the two-tone white and black design. Because in the trailer they showed, there was a black controller that they showed with the white controller. Like, they showed two variants of it in that little video. And I honestly think that the white and black two-tone was all a publicity stunt. Like, I don't think that's the default at all. And I think that the main console will also be just all black, or maybe like two tones of gray. Yeah. But I think that's generally what's going to happen with that. And I wouldn't be opposed to a white and black. Yeah, I think it'd be interesting, but I am excited to see what that box looks like.
I am too. I'm excited to see how big it is. Like, I'm curious in comparison to the Series X. Like, I'm just really excited to see. I hope in some way, for me, like, I love console announcements when the physical console is there in someone's hands. Like, that's my favorite way to, like, I want to see, like,
they might pre-record something.
Yeah, like, I want to see Jim Ryan hold up or Herman, whoever, Mark Cerny, doesn't matter, like, holding up the PS5, or, like, I just love, like, tangibility. Like, that's, like, super important to me. And, like, plus it helps so much with scale. Like, seeing that Series X in that CG video or whatever, like, I didn't know how big that thing was. It looked massive. It looked like a fridge. So it's kind of hard to, like, they literally made it massive. I don't know why they did that, but, like, I feel like there's definitely something to add if you have, like, someone holding it. The controller too. I think that's just have, like, Mark Cerny holding the controller. Like, that's super important. Like, little stuff like that. Yeah, though, I think that, like, all in all, like you said at the beginning of this discussion, like, I haven't been this excited for a gaming event. I mean, like, Game Awards was awesome, I guess, but, like, in terms of, like, just, like, pure unadulterated hype, like, I haven't been this excited in a while.
With the Game Awards, it always feels like you have to temper your expectations. It's like, this is still just a Game Awards show. Like, Jeff is doing the best he can to get these crazy announcements.
Yeah.
But Jeff, don't expect, like, anything insane. Here, I'm expecting insane things.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, Game Awards, to me, it's just, like, I'm excited in terms of, like, entertainment value. It's always fun watching it. But, like, this is, like, different in a way. Like, this feels like this is I mean, we're on the precipice of seeing what next gen is going to be, possibly for the next couple of years, maybe, if we see, games coming out next year.
Yeah.
So this is a big deal. I mentioned this in a previous video. Like, we've seen The Last of Us, we've seen Tsushima. Like, Sony, what's next? Like, Sony has nothing after Ghost of Tsushima. We have no idea.
They were pretty smart about this because they really, I feel like Sony didn't know what they were doing with a lot of their reveals, and they started like, just blowing out on games way too early, and, like, that was a big criticism for them for, like, the past, like, 3-4 years at E3. They're like, we're seeing these same games over and over again. Like, where's the new stuff? What are you doing?
Yeah. And
everybody's just started, like, getting used to it, and they're like, okay, they have to be just saving something for next gen, I guess. They're saving all these new projects. We haven't heard about a new PlayStation game in years. Like,
yeah, no PSX, no E3 last year.
And this is the culmination. This is what all of that builds to. Is like, all of that waiting hopefully will pay off at this event where we see what they've been hiding this entire time.
Yeah. And
they said that, like, you heard about how they didn't even tell a lot of people who were going to be presenting there, like 2 presenters, that they didn't tell them what day it was going to be because they didn't want things being leaked. So,
yeah,
like, I assume there's some big stuff there.
definitely.
Also, I guess that kind of just confirms that there will be people speaking there.
Yeah, that too. Something else too, in regards to that, and kind of in regards to everything we've been saying, like, I think there's going to be a ton of surprises. I think there's going to be, because that's the thing, like, Sony stuff, usually they keep their stuff, I know I'm probably contradicting myself, but usually they keep their stuff pretty airtight. Like, I remember,
You're right.
like, usually, like, we're pretty...
The biggest things usually do not leak.
Like, it's not Nintendo. Let's just say that. And, like, that's why, like, I get excited about their E3 press conference or, like, their whatever presentation they're having, because I don't know what they have. Who knows? Like, they like, somehow...
They usually have the biggest surprises at their things.
Yeah.
And, like, it's that's why they usually keep a really tight grip on that stuff. Like, how do you have Final Fantasy VII Remake in your pocket and nobody finds out until you present it?
One of the biggest game reveals of our generation, of maybe our lifetime. Yeah, like, and it somehow does not get leaked. Shadow of the Colossus just popping out of nowhere. Actually, I think that one got leaked.
No, that was leaked ahead of time, but it was like it was like right before the show started, so not a lot of people saw it.
Yeah, but like, just in general, I agree with you. Like, even like smaller not smaller games, but even like Infamous Second Son, like, no one knew that was coming. No one heard of that game. Like, here it is, a brand new Infamous game. Yeah, it's exciting in terms of, like, what's possible, I guess I should say.
Sky's the limit, boys.
The sky is the limit. We've been chatting now for 90 minutes. I told you I was going to cut it off at 90 minutes. I did not think it was actually going to go this far. But yeah.
That's what this is. Feature length, baby.
Feature length. We have literally talked for the length of Shrek. All right, let's right now the Shrek credits are going, so let's wind down the video. Thank you so much for joining me, man. This is fun. This is like, I live for this.
I was getting hyped.
Yeah, like, this is like, I'm getting E3 vibes. Like,
4 more days.
4 more days at the time of recording this. Yeah, like, we're getting there. So yeah, if you watch this video and you got all the way through, God bless you, first things first, and just, thank you so much. Like, that means a lot that you got through this video. Please comment down below, give me your thoughts, give me your predictions in the comments. I'd love to go through what you think is in store. Did we miss something? Is there something obvious? Maybe something got leaked before I get the time to upload this video. We'll find out. But yeah, definitely comment below and give us your thoughts on everything. And me and Phenom Sage are, of course, going to be reacting to this bad boy. You know it. It's happening. Day one, you'll see us. I think I might live stream that, actually.
That would be a good live stream.
I think I might live stream it. I'm gonna try to, like, work on that. If I get it working good, I'll live stream it. But yeah, that's gonna be it from us. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please stay safe out there, everybody. Just stay safe. That's all I can say. And thank you, Phenom Sage, for joining me once again. Until next time.
Problem.
Yep, we'll see you later.